Hello, how are you? This is a good day for me to be coming in because I have a story to tell you. It's different. It's not exactly a full-time story, but it's important, I hope, to you. My name's Ellouise Schoettler. I'm a storyteller. I love working for this channel, and I've been on vacation. It's been fabulous. I've loved every minute of it. And I had thought that I would do some other stories, but then last night I realized that the things that have meant the most to me have been the last 3 weeks. So here I am. We'll be flying on our wings, but I hope you'll like it. Well, 3 weeks ago, I talked to my daughter. And she says, I'm getting my tickets and I'm coming to see you. She lives in California. And I said, well, Robin, I don't know if you can yet, honey. Can you? We hadn't seen each other in more than 2 years. This is my youngest daughter. And I was lonely for her, although we had Zoom all the time and we talked on the phone anytime we wanted to, which was really great. But there is nothing like having a real person, somebody that you can touch, look at, see what's happening in their lives, in their face. And she was coming. Oh, wow. That was wonderful. And she was going to stay 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Oh, my goodness. What would we do? Well, once she got here, it sort of worked out as to what we were going to be doing. Now, Robin was here. Her sister lives here in our house. We live together. And so that's the second sister was already on scout. She was doing what people are doing here. She had an office downstairs and she worked here too. My son lives not far, Silver Spring, with his wife and his daughters. And so he would be nearby too. We were all on our vaccine. We had been on our vaccine since around, March, April, and May. And our granddaughters, older granddaughters in their early 30s, had already had theirs for where they work. We could all be together as much as we wanted to be together. And as things turned out, that was a lot of that all being together. Robin was curious as to what was happening in the house, and especially in the room that had been her room, which was now my sewing room, stashing room, all that kind of stuff. So she tucked in to see how things were going and asked me, where are the albums? Where are the pictures that we should look at, Mom? We did it, 10 years ago, but I haven't seen those pictures since then. And then we were doing it with slides and carousels and sometimes an album. There must be more here than that, Mom. I knew that we were getting ready to open something that was probably going to be deep, really deep. When Jim Schoettler and I got married in 1956, we were both cameras people. He came from California with his cameras. I was learning how to do that, or with little quick cameras. And we had lots. We saved them from where we were going, from people we knew. And then we started to have children. Now, you know this in your families, and you know what this is like, is that if you've got children around, you're taking lots of pictures, which is what we started to do. And people send you their pictures. And I'm just one of those people who doesn't throw away a picture. I put it in an album or I put it in a safe place. Sometimes I mistake and I put them all in boxes. And the main thing that I've been taught lately And most importantly, is you have to put a name and a place on the back of a photo. Doing it with a sticker if you can, or with a pencil. Don't go through, you know, with a ink that comes through and messes up your picture. You just have to keep going. So I started taking out boxes and stacking them up in what we used to call the blue room, which is now, as I told you, the sewing room, the slush room. And Karen got into it too. She was in the office downstairs, but when she finished her work, she came up and she started to talk with Robin about the pictures, and they were looking at the pictures, and I was looking at the pictures with them, and we were clicking the carousels. We had a lot of slides. You know, that's tiring work. You do know that, don't you? And when you find yourself in a situation where nobody did that as it arrived, I was not a person to sort of do all of that stuff on arrival. And on some of it, I had categorized, I had put names on, all that stuff, but there was a lot that I didn't. And the surprises in my collection of photographs are the boxes of photographs that relatives sent to us of other older present people that we didn't know really. And now that Jim's not with us, there was that whole Schoettler side that he'd be here. He was not here to help with the information. And so we had to learn that. But the richness, the wonderful richness when you start to listen into them and to looking at them. We started off with photographs first and slides. Just quiet things, the things that are things. I had a carousel that I had for more than 30 years, and it was working fine until, well, there was a stuff thing happened. You know, something happened, and then it wasn't working anymore. And in our home, there was a little bit of a panic. You know, what were we going to do? How were we going to see them? And so Robin called eBay, and somebody on there had one at a really fabulous no price, and we ordered it, and it was with us in 3 days. We still had a whole week to finish. So while we were waiting to finish that, somebody said to me, we ought to try the videos, catch the videos and everything that we have to the videos that we've taken. Now, the pictures were in closets, in smaller boxes. The videos had built up into flat cases in bigger boxes, and they built up, and they were in the back of a closet because I didn't think that we had anything we could show them with. And then there was just a terrible, terrible loss that we were facing. We hadn't been able to find the high school sports video. Jimmy had been in a football thing at St. John's. The girls had been, you know, what I'm wanting to say is that they did the cheers. They were cheerleaders out of BCC. And we couldn't find those films. We were looking everywhere, into every box, into every closet. Where did they put it? Did Dad have it one place? And Mom, do you know where it was? No, I didn't know where it was. And we looked and looked. And Robin was going to be going home in 3 days. My goodness, what were we going to do? In 3 days, we would be to a place where we weren't going to see the sports things. Fortunately, I don't remember which one of, I think, did I do it? Did I find them? I'd like to say that I did, but I don't think I did. I think one of the others did, but they came. There they were, bags of them, little bags of these films to see. There was joy here. And one night, 2 nights, we decided that we had been looking at them over here. People would come here and then we would look at them in the dining room. But Jimmy had some, and so he wanted us to see his, and then we brought in ours, the ones that we had selected to show that evening. I'm telling you, it was fun. It was just really fun. And that night we had two of his two daughters, who were early 30s, and they hadn't seen these things. And we were all able to talk about this. It was absolutely wonderful. And there were a few surprises in that box for me, because there were 2 or 3 video interviews that they had found at various views or what, where someone had stopped to interview me. I was doing some things out in the world, and so I got interviewed. The one that I thought was really probably the most useful was one from the 70s, when somebody called me in to be interviewed about the role of women as they went to work in the 70s. I won't bore you with that whole thing. I think that I did make some good points in that about what it meant to women to start holding a job, a good job for their life. Made me feel good. They'll keep that, I think. I think, that they'll think that it was really okay and stuff. And I'm really happy about that. So why am I telling you about this? We had a wonderful time. We're going to keep having wonderful times. My daughter in California is already taking some of her videos and putting them up on the computer, and people are seeing them. Today, I think you could see the dancing and the wedding. They're there. They're there for you to know, to check for, to see if you've got something that's so important in your family that you've got to keep it. Show it to yourself, show it to your grandmother, grandfather, show it to your children, old and young, little that won't ever meet some of these people, but they'll know or recognize who they are. I love that part of it, because with it, there are always stories here. If you look at your pictures, first thing you want to know is, who was it? Where was it? Where was it when you took the picture, if you can get to that? And there begins the story. What did you do when you were there? Just look and love? That's a good thing. Eat something great? Stop to touch your dog? I have one of my grandmother in North Carolina in 1955, sitting outside in the yard with her dog, sitting at her feet. I remember that. I remember her doing that. There's something like that in your family. Getting on a train, going to the plane, all those things. I love going through any trips that Jim and I, kids, made. Anything that you've done that you have pictures of your family or of your friends or of what you've done. It's rich. It's wonderful. It's your personal story and pictures. I'll be showing some more later. I'd love to show a few things out to you, the different ways of putting albums together. They don't have to be fancy to be good. They don't have to be expensive to be good. They just have to be organized and named. That's all you have to do, and your story begins. And I don't know how you feel about it, but I love that. I mean, if their story's beginning and it has even a thin touch, for me, I'm happy. I hope you will be too. Thank you for coming.